Today's Zone Show, acoustic guitars. It's time to start. Very happy that you're all here. Let me get up to today's thing. We are talking about acoustic guitars and specifically recording acoustic guitars, but it helps me if I understand what it is that I'm actually trying to record when I'm trying to record an acoustic guitar. A lot of that boils down to what is the song, how is the guitar being played, what part of the song is the acoustic guitar supposed to occupy in the song. Is it mainly just like acoustic guitar and, maybe there's a vocal with it, or is it a mix with drums and bass and electric guitar and some acoustic guitar and harmonica and piano and vocals with 5 backing vocals? I will tend to record it differently because I have an idea where it's going to sit in the mix. But we're going to deal with today as if the guitar is one of the main players in the mix that we're looking for. So what you see me do is to try to really capture the guitar to stand out on its own. And I'll show you the pointers if I wanted it to sit back in the mix as more of a support instrument, and I have some demo waiting for you for that as well. This is what it sounded like listening position from in front of the guitar. Let me give you that one more time. I had it turned down a little bit. I am going to turn it up. And you can see the waveform. I tried to play these all the same. I tried to. So you can see there's going to be a big hit, a big hit coming in. I'm pointing like this, like you can see where I'm pointing. There's a big hit around the second bar here. So let's listen. And in the other example, I may not have done that cool harmonic. Some of the examples have that, okay? Here it is, different. You can see it's quieter. This is me facing away from the microphone with the mic around my ear level. In other words, what I actually hear, the intimate sound. Okay, one more time. I'm just going to play it through that big hit at the beginning of the second bar. And I want you to listen to what you're really hearing when that happens. And then I'll switch you back to front miking. Here it is again. Okay, switching to front miking. Okay, now we use a lot of words to describe the difference in what you just heard there. I hope this is coming through clearly on the internet. Excuse me. Number one, you can definitely see it recorded louder. I did not change the input gains or anything about any of these sounds. I know that Joe's going to have a question for me. Am I listening to any compression or EQ on this? I'll beat you to the question. No. You know me well enough. These are all dry, dry, dry. There is a couple of exceptions on one of my tracks that you'll hear later that I do have a little bit of effect on. But this is all clean, dry, no compression, no reverb, no EQ. It's the actual sound. I hear the difference not just as louder, but I hear when it's front mic'd, I hear a lot more body, a lot more warmth, and a lot more of the airiness to it. Where when it was mic'd by where my ear was, what I normally hear when I play, it was kind of dull, kind of subdued. And sometimes you might want that tone. So remember, some people, when they use 2 mics, they will put one by their ear to capture kind of the warmth and the body and the intimacy of the guitar, while the other mic's doing the heavy lifting with the clarity and stuff. Joe says, actually, my question is, are you using a pick or strumming with fingers? Good question. Pick. It's an unlabeled. It's a little bit heavier than a medium. It probably was a Tortex at some point. Medium heavy, I would say. I don't know the millimeters on it. It's just what I grabbed at 5,000 picks around. But good question. Yeah, all with a pick. So right there, you heard both those recordings in the same booth from a different angle. Let me give you one other example. And there's treatment in the room. You can see I have some Rockwell panels up on the ceiling, et cetera, et cetera. And over here, this was done with, this is a Rode NT1, which I just brought over. Mic'd at my favorite spot on the upper shoulder of the guitar, distance of 12 inches. So that's what you're about to hear here. Okay, so this is it with the dead strings. Let me play that again. I know it's quieter, but I'm not compensating for any of these volumes. This is how loud it recorded it, and I didn't mess with the gain. Old strings, one more time. Okay. Same mic position, same everything, new string. I know it's louder, and I tried to play it the same, but I think psychologically I knew it was bigger strings, and so I think I did dig into it a little bit more. There's some human error in there. It's not actually that much louder. I think I said, ooh, new strings, and kind of dug into it. I'm only human. Later, after about the third bar of it, you'll hear my finger actually slide on the strings, and that kind of has like a bit of a ring to it as well. Brian says, my experience is there's less attack or bite with old strings. Yeah, good point. The attack, the very first thing you hear when the pick hits the string, that clack, that hundredth of a second. Yeah, dead strings tend not to really respond to that. And a new string will definitely kind of get very excited when a pick hits it. That's an excellent point, Brian. Thank you for bringing that up. So one more time, here's the clean, brand new strings. And here's the old strings. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Marcus, Ducati musician Marcus, yeah, you're quite correct. New strings sound brighter. One trick that has helped me with all of that is they make coated strings. They're more expensive. It's about double the price. Diodario EXP coated. Elixir was sort of the first guys in the game. Pretty much every brand has it. I use those now. And what they will do is they will sound brand new for about 3 months, and then they kind of go downhill real quick, and that's when I change them. If you don't have coated strings, they kind of continually get worse and worse every day. So you could record, say, hey, Saturday session, I'll do a track, and then the next Saturday you do an overdub, and the tone's different. At that point, you'll realize, oh, I should have spent the extra $5-6 and got the coated strings. Brian says super noticeable on the bass, probably because they haven't changed them in 5 years. Bleh. Yeah. It's my strings. They have a life of about 3 months here, and I do tend to use coated. When they start going bad, they'll start going bad real quickly and kind of all at once. Joe says, a poor man's trick, boiling the old strings for a few minutes in a pot of water will give you a few more weeks of life in a pinch. Mostly true with bass strings. That's an old bass player's trick where they take their bass strings off, put them in a pot of boiling water. It takes all the oil that from your hands that got into the string and screwed them up out, and then they put them back on the bass and they sound like brand new strings. They will... they are very, very good for about a day. And then they really go down very quickly after that. Cool point. Mostly with bass strings, because bass strings tend to survive the surgery of being moved off of a guitar, boiled, and put back on again. Guitar strings, you can get away with it, but they tend to kind of, when you reinstall them, they tend to want to snap and break. So it's harder to do that with acoustic guitar. But yeah, in a pinch, if you need that sound, you can't get out to a store, take them off very carefully, boil them, dry them, put them back on very carefully. And if they survive, you're going to have that brand new string sound. Good point, Joe. Brian says just buy strings in bulk usually. Cheaper per pack that way too. Yeah, a little bit. On Amazon, a lot of these are available in 3-packs. Brian, now you're not derailing the stream. That's an excellent point. All right, so we've heard the same guitar a couple different ways. We've heard it in the booth from up front and behind me. We've heard it with dead strings. We've heard it with new strings. One of the things that I promised to talk to you about was the Nashville junk trick, and I'm going to get to that. Yeah, absolutely, Marcus. If you buy them in bulk, you always have a spare set. You don't have to worry about boiling them. The next thing I want you to listen to is I'm going to play the best version of what I did from my booth versus the best version that I did from in the room here. So this is all new strings. One was done in my booth and one was done in this big room. The microphones are different. In the main room, I'm using a Rode NT1, which is not an NT1A, by the way. A lot of people like the NT1A. The NT1A is the anniversary model. Somehow it was $20-30 cheaper than the regular NT1, but it's a different mic. The noise floor is different. The response is different. This is an NT1, the one that costs like $20-30 more bucks. In the booth, I'm using an Audio-Technica 4033 workhorse, high SPL. I mean, you just can't be too loud and have a problem, and that's why I keep it in the vocal booth. But they are both large diaphragm, and they're both actually very similarly toned microphones. The difference you're going to hear is not really because of the microphone. All right, let's have these examples. Here's this room. Okay, here's the booth. Roughly the same levels. One more time, and I don't think I caught the cool harmonic on the one I did in this room. I apologize for not having the cool harmonic on there. All right, this room. The booth. It's subtle. One more time, this room. The booth. Okay, now, I know it's subtle. The way my ears hear that, again, very similar mic, but a very different room. I hear the one done in the booth as being kind of boxy. It's kind of like I was talking to you like this. I can kind of hear that it's enclosed. Today was fun for me. Acoustic guitars are a very fun topic for me. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys all for coming. Hey, and I only kept you 30 minutes over. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I'm going to sign off. I'll see you in the zone, man.